If you're a mom who needs just one night that's all about you, I need you at Mom It Ain't Easy, the Mami Collective Summit on October 1st at the Mayfield in Chicago. We're talking incredible food and drinks, local vendors, live music, amazing raffles, inspiring conversations, and our signature panel featuring moms who are building careers, businesses, and lives they love. Plus, I'm excited to announce that Anna Bellaval will be joining us as our surprise guest for a live conversation and audience Q&A. Trust me, you don't want to miss this one. Grab your tickets now at themamicollective.com. I'll see you there.
Welcome to the Mami Collective. I'm Paulina Rowe, radio host, TV contributor, writer, and mom of one. This is where ambitious moms come to keep their identity intact while navigating motherhood. Here we talk about the real stuff: career, money, relationships, identity, and everything that gets messy in between. You won't find sugarcoating or cliches. What you will find are unfiltered conversations, real resources, and proof that you don't have to lose yourself to be a good mom. The Mami Collective is here to remind you can be ambitious, you can take up space, and you can thrive in motherhood and in everything else that makes you, you. Before we get into the episode, make sure you're following the Mami Collective on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and share this podcast with a mommy in your life who needs a little inspiration or just a reminder that she's killing it. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and leave us a review so we can keep showing up and reach every ambitious mom out there doing big things. Let's get into it. Hi, it's Paulina here at Mami Collective, another episode. I am so excited today for my guest because not only is she such a part of my village, I hope that after this episode, she can be a part of yours too. Abbey Bigi-Prow, the owner and director of Village Cowork Old Route 66, located here in Lyons. How are you today?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me on. This is so fun. Thank you.
I know. Thank you for joining. So first things first, we love Abbey in this house. So Abbey really has enhanced my motherhood experience. And by that, I mean, you have given me a village that I never knew existed, right? So if someone's like, what does that mean, Paulina? Well, to me, it means that I have discovered you. And I always say, I wish I met you and discovered you earlier because I have a 2-year-old, right? And everyone knows I work very early mornings. I work in radio, but I still do 150 things after the show, whether it's for my own stuff, Mami Collective, or it's still just radio stuff that's got to get done. And it just became so hard to do when I was at home with my 18-month-old, whatever age she was, right? And it was all cute and games until she really started wanting my attention more and playing, right? And that happened as early as I don't even know, maybe 6, 7, 8 months. So it was just so hard to kind of do both at the same time. And what I love about your space that you have created here in Lyons, and we're going to dive all into that in a second, is that I feel like you've given me my time back, but also mental clarity and just the reassuring feeling of my kid is in really good hands. And my favorite part of this is that I'm in the same building that she's in, and I won't ever stop bragging about that. So Abbey, welcome to the podcast.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It was a wonderful introduction, and it makes me so incredibly happy to hear your story about that too.
Well, thank you. No. It's about you today, though. I just had to share that because whenever I talk about you guys, I feel like I'm giving a TED talk, and people are probably I just asked for the directions, and I'm over here just giving them my life story because I'm no, you have to hear about this place. It's so awesome. So, Abbey, I wanted to get you on the podcast today because, like I said, you're a big part of my village, but for so many other parents and moms and even dads, right, that are experiencing the same thing, I really want to kind of dive into you. And you're a mom of 2 twin boys, and you are also a wife. And you are, I believe, a photographer. And I think you're still photographing your butt off. So I think that's awesome. I mean, not only are you busy creating community, but you're also busy with your own kind of entrepreneurial journey. Yeah. So Abbey, I would love for you to kind of give us a little bit of a background about yourself, your work, and then your family too.
Absolutely. I'll give the sort of Cliff Notes version of it because it happened pretty organically. I've been a family photographer for 15, almost 20 years. And then when my wife and I decided to have babies, but I had always worked with children, right? I did newborn family photography. I was a nanny when I first started my business. So children have always been in the realm. And I was super cocky and was like, well, when we have babies, I'll just edit when they nap, right? I can still maybe take 6 months off and then I'll go right back to it, but I don't need to do anything. And then we were having twins. And then I was like, well, okay, so maybe I need help. but searching for help, it was really kind of impossible. And just so, I mean, it was either part-time care is hard to find, affordable care, especially for 2 infants at the same time, was impossible to find. I mean, there were nannies that were maybe available, but they were 18 and asking for more than I made. And that was hard for me. And then even when I did have in-home help, I couldn't like completely disconnect. I was always trying to kind of attune to them. So it just so happened that I was in a mom's group and somebody mentioned Lay Village because another mom was kind of going through it too. Daniela Cornu is our founder and just, was a work from home and was like, this was supposed to be more flexible. I thought this was supposed to be easier. And then, so Danny was like, if this was, I thought, but I still can't pick my kid up before 4 or drop them off after 8. And it has to be, I pay for 5 days. Anyway, all of that to say, she found this need. She did all the legwork. I was a benefit. I found them. They didn't even have walls, but I was like, I met her curriculum coordinator. The vibes were great. And I was like, where do I sign? I was like, there's no walls. Take my babies. Call me when there's walls. And so, I started part-time there, just 2 days a week. And after we were there for 3 years, even after moving to Berwyn, we still made this trip into the city. But I knew pretty quickly that this was a journey it was so life-saving in my journey as like a mother, as well as, I could not have continued being a photographer if I hadn't found them. And in the world of being a photographer, if you drop out of the game for 2 years, you just don't exist anymore. So all of that to say, it was exactly. But so to hear you say your experience was very much my experience as well. I was connecting with other moms that had babies. I mean, we went through COVID together. So it was a whole big ball of everything. But when we moved this way, I knew that this was something that could maybe take me into, retirement. So I did. I built a photo studio on site, which I haven't gotten to use enough of yet, but we'll get there soon because we just opened in September of last year. But starting to grow and build our own community here. And so seeing families really utilize the care and love our staff and love our program and love what we're doing is exactly all of the things to me. Sorry.
No, that's amazing. It's an incredible story. So, okay, kind of take us through really quickly because you mentioned it. You yourself attended Lay Village and you Lay Village, like that was your quite literal village. So now when did you wake up and go, I think I'm going to do this? Because you already had twins, photographer, you had your life was life in. Yeah. So at what point were you like, I'm going to open up my own? Like we're going to keep the community growing.
I had kind of been looking into franchises for a few years before that, just because, again, 10, almost 12 years of family photography at that point. I love what I do. But as a creative entrepreneur, it's hard to plan retirement or vacations, or I do most of my business in 3 months out of the year. My back hurts with the newborn. It's like, I was like, I'm getting older. So I kind of looked at something. And then again, Danny had kind of played around with the idea of franchising or opening a second location. And so we kind of approached that together. She has her own team. And it just so happened to work. But I was the first one to sign on as a franchisee, but because I'm picky and stubborn and crazy and did things my way, I bought a giant empty warehouse in the suburb. And so it took me 3 years to open it while I photographed and raised my twins the whole time. But now there are 6 of us. So there are 6 Lay Villages and she's actively franchising more, but all independently owned, all moms and families who are mostly raising their kiddos on site too. So it very much is a family affair.
100%. I can attest to that. So when people walk into Lay Village, right, what do you hope that they feel within the first 5 minutes? And I'll tell you my experience too, because I know mine. I know my answer.
I think of this place as an extension of my home, and I want it to be welcoming, and I want it to be inviting, and I want it to be comfortable. I want people to feel welcome, and I want them to feel that, their kids can run through to the other room and, you don't have to, if you're going to break something, that's my hope, at least, that it's a place for grownups and kids. They're all welcome.
100%. Yeah, I definitely felt that the moment that I came in, because when I called you to kind of ask questions and what is this? I'm so interested. I just remember being can I sign up yesterday? I was just so excited about it. And when I came in, my first impression or just my first initial thought was that's so cool that I'm going to be on my computer right there and I'll be doing some Zoom or something. And my kid who we haven't done the detachment and my kid too, she's not super clingy with me. And I do feel she's very confident as a child. And I love that. but I was nervous. I'm like, oh, I think I was more nervous than she was, but I was like, oh, she'll be away from me for the first time, air quotes away. My first thought was like, she's going to be in that room right over there. And everything was so like beautiful, organized, and it sounds so silly, but even to me, I was like, oh, there's no screens. Like, this is great. At home, we have enough TV, so I was just like, well, how do I take her out of the environment of like the comfort of her home and this and that and like put her here and like, will she be ready? She's only, maybe she was like 20 months. I can't even remember, something like that. And then, coming into here, I was like, okay, everyone's so nice, first and foremost. Everyone's so kind. Everyone is so equipped. And then it's cool because like all the parents, like we're all in this like same journey, same boat. We're all just trying to make this work. And like, there's literal childcare, 2 feet from us. Like the impression of it was just so incredible. My impression was, and that's something that I really hope like, grows, like whether it's you doing it or like other people are franchising. I just hope that this concept just continues to grow because it's the best thing in the world. So that was my impression. I have to just
thank you. Sometimes I do worry that I made it a little too pretty because I feel like sometimes people are like scared to raise their voice. I was like, no, for real. I was like, my brain looks more like the studio that you can't see, which is like things open everywhere in piles, but we are super welcome. That's the whole thing. I do think that there's a type of person who is drawn to this. I mean, it is not for everybody, right? It is not. Some people can't work from home. Totally get that. And some people, if their child is upset at the first, can't be on site to hear that. And some would, we have one of ours where our like kiddo who had the hardest time adjusting, it was 2 days of just crying, which was so sad. I mean, it kills us as caregivers, and we've been doing it for years. And I, trying to reassure mom, and she's like, I'm here. I know that you guys are attending to his every need, and that's great. She's like, that is more comforting to me than dropping him off somewhere and like knowing that he's missing me, but I can't be there to see it. But again, but I think there's something about this community who really want to be involved with their kids' lives. They want to know their teachers. They want to know their friends. They want to look at somebody and be like, my kid is doing the weirdest thing. Is your kid also doing this? Because they're about the same age or, So I think there's something about that community part of it that's really bonding and welcome.
I 100% agree. No, I love it. What problem do you feel like you were trying to solve, right, when you like opened this specific location here in Lyons? Was there like a moment where you thought, oh, if this existed when I became a mom, my life would look different, Like, was that kind of like a thought? What problem were you looking to solve?
Yes. I think, again, because I was a member first, and again, I remember when like my boys were 4 months old.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So I was like literally, and I was at the point where like I was like attacking my wife when she came in the door. Like, talk to me. Like, I need adult stimulation. We need to do things. I need to get out of the house. And so it was just as much for me as them. I think especially in the beginning, I think I definitely talked more than I worked. But so yes, this connection of all of this to say, I don't think I could have been a full-time stay-at-home mom. I don't think I could have been a full-time working parent either. And that is not a shade on either one of those. It's just a me situation. So I was lucky enough. And as my kids grew and I talked to other parents and heard their stories, I realized how lucky I was. And I was like, other people need to be able to do this. Like, I, again, was able to keep my career. I worked, 4 full days a week when my wife had the boys on the weekend, so I could shoot on Saturdays. We had family day on Sunday, but then I could take Tuesday off and take my kids to the zoo. I got to have lunch with them every single day for 4 years until they went to a traditional pre-K. And I realized in the moment, it was like, oh my God, I need this. And like almost a relief. And then looking back, it was like, oh, I am so lucky. And other people need them too. And I still feel like that's kind of the message we're trying to bring. I think it's different in the city where there's a few of us and people know, but I think I'm still trying to kind of tell people who we are in the suburbs and that it's not just a play place, which again, love, utilized, need, will sing their praises and still will, but it's just a different, we're more of like a daycare situation than we are like a drop-in. Yeah. So again, but you can really like get work done. You can sit down. You still don't have to wipe your kid's butt. Like when they need, they can, at a play place, they run back from playing and you still have to like take them to the restroom. It's a curriculum and learning and play and all of the things. So.
And do you mind telling us about their curriculum? Because I remember that was one of my first questions and you gave me the coolest answer I think I've ever heard. You said it was almost like a mix. And I can never pronounce the first one, so please forgive me. I call it like Regilio Emilio, but it's not what it's called. There is
we use again, our curriculum was designed by people who know and study all these things, but we call it Waldorf-story, kind of lovingly.
Waldorf-story, that's what it was. Waldorf-story, but it's a mix of the two. I thought that was the coolest thing I've ever heard.
Yeah. We are heavily Montessori inspired. So even at like when our babies are coming up into the toddler room at 15, 16 months, we'll start practicing like anyway, so not to get, but yeah, so we'll start practicing some of the Montessori and, independence and things like that. But we're not going to make them sit down and learn their ABCs. It is also, we're play-based. It's based on imaginative play, and just independence and imagination and fun things to do. We, work on our 4 pillars. We call it big body, little hands, and then crafts and sensory. So big body is obviously gross motor, little hands is fine motor. But yeah, so we scale it from, our 3 months to our 4.5 years, try to develop all of those things.
I just thought it was the coolest thing I ever heard. I remember you're like, we're a mix. And then you mentioned I can't say this one either. Waldorf?
Yeah, Waldorf. The Waldorf is big imagination and creative. So yeah, we bring a little bit of all of the best parts of things in. Yeah, because like I had 2 boys who were not Montessori boys, but they were allowed to create and explore in other ways, and they, so they gained so much from the Montessori benefits as well. So, and the practices. So.
That is so cool. Yeah, as a new mom, when I was like searching for, childcare, what does it look like? Woo, woo, woo. And like deep inside, I mean, I admit this all the time. I'm like, I wasn't ready to fully like go to like full daycare again, because she's always with family in the morning when I'm working, and then it would be me all day. And I have sitters at the house, but I'd be upstairs, So again, it was like my own live village at home. I was upstairs, sitter was downstairs, right? So I'm like, I'm really close. I can hear everything, but I never like dropped her off. So one of the things too, I was like, I feel like every new mom goes through this too. I'm like, what is Montessori? I'm over here Googling all these things, and I'm like, I don't know what that is. And then that one came up, the Waldorf one. And then there's other ones. And I was like, that's so interesting. Like, no idea. Again, learning. So I thought it was so cool the way you explained it to me.
You could learn forever. I did, Danny did our different, and again, our curriculum was designed, we have a curriculum coordinator who's got a master's in early ed and Montessori education. So we did all of that. So you don't have to, and we just give you the good parts. And we're like, hey, this is what this is supposed to be. This is, what they're making pasta snakes today. And like, yeah, it's a cute craft, but it's also for like developing fine motor skills. So
yes.
Gigi's age, she can, thread a string through the pasta, where our younger ones, you give them a pipe cleaner because it's a little hard, but it's all developing fine motor skills, and they get a cute snake out of it. You read a story about
I love it. And I noticed too at home, like just how she's doing certain things, and they might be little to us. I mean, we're full grown adults, but I forgot the other day I was going to text you or message you about it. It was so cute. She was doing something, and I was like, I never taught her that, but she knew, and it was something so small. Maybe it was with like, I think it was maybe even opening like a creamer at the diner we went to breakfast. She was doing something, and I was like, and it wasn't this tantrum thing. It wasn't anything big, crazy. She just slowly did it. And I was like, the way she did it, I can tell she was using her motor skills like as a 2-year-old. And I was just so impressed. And maybe it was you guys, maybe she just, I don't know, woke up one day and wanted coffee creamer. I don't know. But it was so cute. And I was like, okay, this is what they mean by like, these curriculums in the outside world, right? Like as she's learning them at school.
Again, it's all play, but it's, developing real skills that you'll need. Exactly.
100%. It was so cute. So I kind of want to really quickly pick your brain. I hate that quote. I don't know why I just said that, but I kind of want to just dive into the marketing part of it, because, your business here at Lay Village, I mean, it's not new, but you said I opened last September. And I feel like I could be wrong, but I feel like, we've got a whole lot of people sitting out there, which is amazing. And so many kids, and I know there's different age groups and stuff. So for a mom listening who is starting, could be a similar, child care business or anything similar to it, how do you market, right? How do you get your families in the door? Like what are your kind of the secret sauce that you've been using?
That is a great question. I don't know. Honestly, we were lucky enough to have Danny and them do some of it for us, but especially as we're branching out into new suburbs. Because when social media was kind of everything, when my boys were little, but that was 7 years ago. And now I feel like people have a real and probably genuine distrust of social media. But as a parent, and what I'm finding is that people are still pretty much finding us through social. So, I mean, again, when I need a plumber, I go to the moms groups because I trust moms more than anybody else. And I know, I'm like, who has a plumber that they've used and isn't going to screw me over because, I'm a busy mom. Excuse the language. But yeah, so I still go there, and I think other people do too. After spinning my wheels and going to all the, joining all the chambers and doing all the networking and things like that, what's felt the best to me and the most organic and probably given me the biggest reach is just genuine connections. I found with other parents, like Army Grace, who actually introduced us and is wonderful and genuine and a resource where I was like, she is one who I was like, I wish you were around when I was a kid. How wonderful is what she does. And I will sing her praises through every day. And I knew opening up that because we were late opening and we were opening right in the middle of when everybody already had care. So I was like, and again, it's for me as a photographer and whatever, all the seasons, it was busy. It was crazy. And I was like, what I was kind of pitching people was I can't right now. What I know I have is I have no brain power and I have no money and I have no like bandwidth, but what I have is space and this ability and want to really connect people. So if you can use my space and we'll give you a percentage off, if you're bringing in my target market, free, right? Whatever. If we have the space, it's yours to use. I can't promise that I'm going to repost everything but so that was, again, people who I really believed in, messages that I really believed in, making genuine connections, and then just singing their praises as much as I possibly could when I was on social, and vice versa has been probably the best for me. I think don't try to fit yourself into a box that you don't fit into. Like, do what works best, because I feel like people can smell that pretty organically, right? I was like, if you're promising big things and you can't back it up, then don't. But like, go with your strengths, go with people you like, know you like, all of that. That would be my advice, I guess.
Absolutely. And you've been from what I've seen, you've been pretty smart about utilizing this space. Like, I know you host like kids' birthday parties. I can rent it out for my daughter's birthday, which we got to talk. I got to put that on the calendar. I know, because I was looking and I'm like, we got to start getting this going. And I have a Halloween party for her every year. It's a thing I made. I don't know why I did it, but it's cute. But like, it's just, to me, from looking at it from like a business owner perspective, it's like, well, these are ways to grow people coming in the door, or just even grow whatever like your goals are. You also do like some weekend events too, like Sensory Sundays. And like, those are cool because I get the kid out of the house, on a Sunday morning. It's always so fun. But again, like you're offering more to the community for maybe, like you said, those moms who don't work from home, who don't have that kind of flexibility. So it still gets them in the door, introduces them to this community. So I think as a business owner, that's really savvy. It's smart.
Thank you. And it was a part of what I really wanted to build. Danny utilized her members too. Like, so that's the other part of this. Whereas I still am like best friends with 8 of the women that we all went to the Village together. So our babies were in the classroom at 4 and 8 months together, like 4 and 6 months together. And now at 7 years old, they just got tin cans and are going to call each other. They see they're like cousins, and their moms are my best friends. And I've utilized one for marketing. There's a jewelry maker who like Danny would have and do like for Valentine's Day one day. One year she like had her come in and like we made rings together, and one's a life coach. And so she would come in and talk to us about, dynamic changes and partnerships and things. And so it was just all of like, she brought the community in, and I still want to expand on that. I'm not having even scratched the surface. Once I have more time and resources, I would love, because it's not even about like, I think people who get us, right? Like, I don't have to sell because again, we're not going to work for everybody. So it's not even about selling Lay Village to like get more memberships. It's about creating that community for people who maybe can't utilize Lay Village, or, or for new moms who feel really alone, or new parents, I should say, because we've got a lot of dads on site too, where they're always like, are there dudes here? I'm like, there are dudes here. You're cool. Like, you're not going to be the only dude in the lunchroom. I promise. Okay to ask that. And in fact, one of our dads who is on paternity leave is bringing their daughter back twice a week until they can come back full time, just to get her, back with her friends and things. He's building our lockers in the workout room, which he's like, I got some time. And I was like, you're amazing. I was going to have to pay somebody to do that. So like this village comes together and supports each other. And it really is about like making these like genuine connections.
100% agree. And then what's something that people assume, I always think it's really interesting, but what's something people assume about owning a business that couldn't be farther from the truth?
We got money. I was like, I think that we're rich, or that we're doing this just for them. I would say, like, I joke what that is, that we're doing it just for the money. Where in most small business owners that I know take a pay cut before anybody else. If we're slow, my staff is getting paid. I'm not getting paid, right? Like, for sure. Or anything else. Again, I do this for the kids. I do this for the community. I do this for my kids. Like, yes, I need it to be, at some point, this would be great to like, pass on to them or whatever. But that's not what drives me day to day. And again, I would for sure, it's definitely not my personal bankroll. So it's like, I do this for the community. And like I said, I think most small businesses and small business owners put in way more time. If you tallied up hourly what we get paid, it would be very, very, very small because we put our heart, souls, and time into all of it.
I 100% get that. And I think what you said is very real. So thank you for sharing that. And then we mentioned that you have 2 twin boys, and which by the way, they're like the cutest ever. And I love when you bring them here and they're so sweet. My daughter loves them. What is something about becoming like a twin mom that absolutely nobody prepared you for?
That's a great question. I think a boy mom was because, again, I had like my nieces, I would just always girls. I swore that I was having girls and I did not. But twins are a whole thing. Parts of it were very much harder by having 2, and parts of it were honestly kind of easier, especially in that like 3-year-old stage where people were like, their kid was begging them to play, like, you know, for the 25th time, like, Mom, I made you an ice cream cone. It's like, cool, what flavor is it now? It's like they had each other.
Yep.
So it was like I wasn't being pestered for it, you know, but part of it's, I think, I don't know. All of it's hard. All of it's hard. I feel like having 2 at different ages is hard. Having 1 solo is hard. All of it's hard in different ways. But yeah.
Oh yeah, for sure. And how do you feel like motherhood has changed the way that you view or even like defined success compared to, you know, before kids, after kids?
Oh yeah, that's a huge one. And especially, again, I was a solopreneur for a very long time, and I would give too much away. I would give my time away. I was over nice. I was over perform. I mean, and because I thought it was nice, right? I didn't want to hurt anybody. I wanted to really like give back. And it wasn't until after kids that I realized that like my time was valuable. I am valuable. My gifts are valuable. And like there was a monetary thing on that because I wanted to be with my boys, right? Like if I was giving too much to other people, there wasn't enough to give to my family. And so it taught me boundaries in the best possible way. I feel like I'm a better photographer for it. I'm a better business owner for it. I'm a better partner for it. It's like, it's not good for anybody if you stretch yourself too thin. Like you have to put those boundaries in place. So nobody can get all of you, and you got to come to terms with that too. But yeah, like again, putting the good healthy boundaries in place so you can be there for them when you're there.
How did you overcome the awkward part of setting boundaries? Because I feel like as a retired, I call myself a retired, 2 things, retired party girl, sometimes depends on the day. And then I call myself a retired people pleaser because I feel like that version of me is so gone. And I do think it's because of, you know, having a baby. But how did you kind of overcome the awkwardness? Because I feel like once we set those boundaries and stuff, like as empowering and amazing as it is, there's that awkward phase, right? Where you almost turn around like, oh my God, what do I do? How did you overcome that feeling?
I think it helps because I feel the same. Well, one, I was late diagnosed ADHD and anxiety. So I got medicated, which was helpful.
Yeah, I'm so late.
The anxiety medicine helps, but I'm still over giving, right? I'm still a people pleaser. I'm just not to the point where like it's dead. So I feel like it is always nice and sometimes I think the best of most people, right? So I don't think people are trying to take advantage when they're trying to take advantage. When they take advantage sometimes, it's just so reminding them like, I did give you this %, you know what I'm saying? Or like per your contract, or like, oh yeah, just reminding you this is this much, but I know I did it for this and I'm here showing up. Or just no is sometimes I can't do that this day, but I can do it this day. Or just giving options, the compliment sandwich situation. I know people say no is a complete sentence. I have not learned that yet. I still over-explain. I still overgive. I still overdo. But I think, again, it's what usually shuts it down as being like, yep, you signed up for this and you're getting that. So that's what you're doing. Like,
no,
I
love it.
Up for this amount of time and you're getting that amount of time. And you signed up for this and that's what you're getting. Thanks.
But I think that's like a really great solution because one of my friends, my coworkers, he told me one time, he goes, I'm solution based. And I feel like, okay, I don't like really have solutions all the time, but what I do have is, like you said, almost like an explanation where it feels like I'm validating, let's say, a customer or a person or whatever, right? And letting them know like why I'm telling them something or why, you know, I'm trying to justify whatever I'm trying to say. And that maybe my, you know, solution is giving them something or giving them another day. I'm making this up. Let's just say, oh, Friday doesn't work 3 p.m. But you know what? And it's such a simple thing, but maybe it helps. Like but how about Monday or Tuesday, 3 p.m., just kind of keeping that person, knowing that I'm like listening to them, right? Respecting them. Kind of like, I'm exactly what you said, but being like, hey, this is what I'm giving you, or this is another option. So like, I think
I think the written the written upfront boundaries are big too, where it's like my office hours are not, or again, somebody put, especially in this business, because people, well, and in photography, right? People, I shoot on Saturday, so they think that they have access to me all the time. And that's not the case. But so somebody, one of the other, I think has, and I've been meaning to put it in my tagline, but be like, my office hours might look different than yours. Please allow me this much time to respond. Because sometimes they're like, well, it's 4:00 on a Tuesday. And I'm like, yeah, and I'm in with babies and I got to go pick up my babies. And then so when I respond to you at 6 a.m. the next day, don't be, but so that's just that reminder, like, hey, my office hours might look different than yours, and or be very firm about them. I respond to emails from 8 a.m. until this PM. And then they know what to expect. At least they're not, and if they're upset about that, like, oh, look, as it was stated down here, that's my office hours, and I return,
100%.
I think sometimes stating that or just having that, so you don't have to say it at all. They just know what to expect right from the beginning.
100%. And what's like one piece of guilt that you've intentionally let go as a mother, if you have?
I don't know. That's a hard one for me, I think. I still hold a lot. And again, it's trying to be there more, right? It's especially as this is the first time, this last year is the first time when I wasn't there for all of it. And that's hard. Even us, that this is the first time they've ever had to be in summer camp all year.
Oh, that's right.
And they're living their best life. They're just fine. But like, I miss going to the pool on Tuesday, being able to take whatever on Thursday or just, but I guess they're fine. Living their best life. They get to go to huge vacation. And it's also helped us to really like maximize the time we do have.
Yeah. I look at it that way all the time. I'm like, I know Gigi's got her activities or this or that, but I'm like, when we are together, like we're fully together. And like full transparency, I always say like, we get to do the cool things because we've created such a flexible life. Like, I know that like the hours I work, even like your business and everything, it's like, these aren't like traditional hours, let's call that, right? So I know that we can, like you said, go to the pool at 12 p.m. on Tuesday or whatever, if we wanted to, right? And we accommodated for that, whatever, do what you gotta do. But I just always felt like, okay, I hope my kid knows that she's lucky, because I personally, like, I never grew up with that. Like, I love my mom to death, but one thing she never did, I'll never forget, is that she never went on a field trip for me. And I think about that. And the reason that I think it bothers me a little bit is because I'm like, oh, she kind of could have if she wanted to. But, I'm not going to hold her to it. Like, that was her choice, and I completely understand. But at the same time, I think this is also like, 20, 25 years ago, whatever, 30 years ago. And I look at it like, okay, like, different times, different mentality, especially around work, very traditional, like 9 to 5 kind of setting, or 9 to 4, whatever it was. And that's something that I told myself, if I have kids, I want to be able to show up for them. And I think I'm a big like manifesting believer. I'm a big manifester. So I feel like I've created that life where I can show up in ways, right, that I want to as a mom. And I feel like you definitely have.
Yeah. And even, I even say that to like, we've got, a 4-year-old at the space who sometimes has a hard time, like nap transitions or whatever. Right. And that's when he gets really emotional. And so usually I can come in and hug him. And he's like, I just want my mom. I'm like, and I understand, but just pointing out like, she's right out there, like, right. And she's right there. I was like, and mommy's always come back, of course, but I was like, but she's doing her job. I was like, she's doing her job today. So you guys can have so much fun together on Saturday. I was like, and Miss Abby's job is to be here with you and give you hugs when you're sad and help you, take a nice nap. Cause then when you wake up, your job is to play and get really smart. So you can show mom what her job is next, so it's like, everybody's got their jobs, and it's like, she's right out there and you can see that she's working, and then she can be with you on the weekend. So even trying to remind our youngest of that, like in the space, is good.
Oh, absolutely. I know. I love it. And I feel like we are very lucky to have you as our angel of being able to like, not even just like tell our kids that, but to really like be there. I would say like in our place for that moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like to be that like loving figure. I don't know how to describe it, but to me, I think that means everything. I think a lot of moms and parents would absolutely agree to that.
Awesome.
So,
Thank you so much.
I love it. So I kind of want to dive into your family life as well. And, you and your wife, you built a business and a family together. So I'm curious of how do you sort of divide the responsibilities in a way that works for both of you?
And one that we are still figuring out. Because again, especially when I was little, my wife has always had kind of a traditional 9 to 5-ish. She's in retail. And so when we first got together, it wasn't so much 9 to 5. She still worked weekends a lot. But anyway, since the boys, it's been pretty much 9 to 5. But either way, she was, in more of a traditional role. And I was, again, a creative professional. So it was always that I was going to, we had to budget. This is the thing about being a small business owner. There's no help, what I'm saying? There's no like maternity leave for me. I just have to budget for so many months to take off without my salary. And then coming back, like that was hard. So I came back part-time and like that was not what the plan was, but I came back part-time. But so it was easier for me to take on a lot more of the household responsibilities because that was my contribution. Now opening Lay Village has been a full-time. And so we're kind of renegotiating a lot of those things. And there has to be some communication around there for sure. I know there's a book called Fair Play, which my lovely friend Jess Felt has recommended, and I have not gone through, but I know it's there, and but she also recommends, she does like her and her husband do a lunch once a month to catch up. So it's like, it's not date night. There's no booze. But it's like a lunch where you can sit down and this is all we're talking about, the schedule and the whatever. And ours has been happening more as we're out the door or in the door. But again, with the craziness of Lay Village and my wife's business, we've had to have more very intentional conversations around it because it kind of started organically on roles and things like that. But then we've had to be a little more intentional about it. It also, I think, helps that I worked on the weekends because it was never like, she doesn't know how to like change a diaper or what my boys like, right? I think being a two family, she was very conscious and maybe scared that she wouldn't be seen as much of a mom because she wasn't home with them every single day or because she wasn't the bio parent. But my boys look more like her than me, whatever. So she didn't carry, but she is 1,010% just as much as a mom and I. And it was important when I worked and when I was shooting on Saturdays, she had that day. So, she did the nap, she did the lunch. It was never like, what do I do here? If I had to leave, I just picked up and left. I didn't have to like prep her. So she was always a very present parent. And so I think we were always very conscious about that too.
I love it. Oh, no, that's incredible. And, I kind of wanted to dive into that as well, because I know that you and I were talking about this, but, what was there like anything about building your family that was different from what people might assume, right? Or in honestly too, is there anything that you wish that more people understood about same-sex parents from your perspective?
I can only say from my perspective, which is we're definitely, we're a little older and, both very much identify as lesbians. And it was a different world 7 years ago or I guess 8 or 9 when we started this journey than it is now. I might have made different choices, knowing different things. It's amazing how fast some of these things have progressed. But to us, it was kind of a natural decision on who would carry only because of age and factors, it was a weird, I guess the biggest thing is there's no oops, right? There's no just like, oops, okay. Like everything was very intentional. And I don't think I was ready for that, but it was just like, okay, well, I think we're ready to do this. Let's make the call. And then we made the call and it was like, oh, Lacey had to come in for test. So we're just going to go in for the test. And then it was the next thing. And then it was the next thing. But so it didn't seem as like daunting because we were like, oh, we're going to have a baby next year is very daunting. And then, but I feel like as women in general, kind of that process, I just like, what did we learn in school? I don't know. Like,
I think about that every day. I'm like, what was this for? Why was I here?
It's like, oh, that's how our bodies work. Oh, now it's just bizarre. And it's like, okay. But I did feel kind of lonely in that too, because I had to go to Alexis was working. I had to go to the doctor's appointment. So I feel like, I guess I would say that more than like a 2-mom journey, but the fertility journey can be very lonely and seem a little bit technical. She was there whenever she could be, and again was there but it's all of this to say I'm kind of rambling now, but
no, I think this is really, really insightful because I honestly didn't ever think of that part. I really didn't. Like I have friends who like are also 2 moms, but I never considered what she went through and like the isolating part of it. And I don't know if that's because like maybe like you said, like work schedules, life, right? Things were happening. Or is that just how we as society think of it as like, okay, heterosexual couples, right? Woman's going to carry, mom goes to appointments, dad's always present in the picture. And honestly, I'm not going to lie. I went to a lot of appointments with myself too, because my husband
I think it's more of a birthing parent journey than a 2-mom thing. I just think we don't talk. And I mean, again, now this whole talk about perimenopause and all, we just didn't talk about fertility.
Welcome to the Mami Collective Collective. I'm Paulina Rowe, radio host, TV contributor, writer, and mom of one. This is where ambitious moms come to keep their identity intact while navigating motherhood. Here we talk about the real stuff, career, money, relationships, identity, and everything that gets messy in between. You won't find sugarcoating or cliches. What you will find are unfiltered conversations, real resources, and proof that you don't have to lose yourself to be a good mom. The Mami Collective is here to remind you can be ambitious, you can take up space, and you can thrive in motherhood and in everything else that makes you. Before we get into the episode, make sure you're following the Mami Collective on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram, and share this podcast with a mommy in your life who needs a little inspiration, or just a reminder that she's killing it. Also, don't forget to sign up for our newsletter and leave us a review so we can keep showing up and reach every ambitious mom out there doing big things. Let's get into it.
No, and I appreciate you sharing this truly. Like, I think these conversations are so important, which kind of leads me to my next one. As somebody who works in early childhood education, right? Literally whole life structured around it, right? Has two sons of, her own. And then, you're married as well to a woman. So how, if you don't mind me asking, how can we as parents, as society, right? As just human beings, how can we do better with our children? Like, for example, my daughter's godfather is my best friend. And he's a gay man, and his partner, his name is Patrick. My daughter is obsessed with Patrick, okay? And Patrick is like, the boyfriend of her godfather. And I feel like they're going to get married one day. I have my own thing in my head. I got my own wedding bells. It's all happening. They are perfect for each other. And I even see how my daughter's just so attached to both of them, but specifically to Patrick, right? My best friend's boyfriend. And, I do think about that as she's growing and stuff. Like, I'm not going to be naive. She's going to ask one day, right? Because she just is. Like, that's just life. But sometimes I'm like, well, how do I answer that? And I feel like I know what to say, but I don't want to bullshit my kid, and I want to just kind of, be straight up with her, LOL. But I want to just be like, I want to be able to really just, be honest, right? But also age appropriate in the terms of like, okay, she's 3, she's 4, she's 5, she's just going to keep growing. And I'm like, so how do I explain that? Right? Cause I feel like I'm not gonna lie, I'm not ready for any talks with my kid yet, like just around the clock, but I understand, like, I'm raising a girl, and I'm like, one day we're gonna have like the period talk, the sex talk, all the talks, right? I'm not ready for any of them. I know we're still far from it, but I'm not ready. But eventually too, and another transparent thing I'm going to say, and a very vulnerable thing, is like, we're going to have the body part talk soon, because she's understanding that. So I feel like I'm entering that space, Abby. I'm entering all the spaces now, right? As a mom. So how can we talk to our kids when it comes to same-sex couples?
I think every kid is different, but I think exactly like you said, like age-appropriate answers, like, yeah, don't bullshit, like answer the question. But I did hear this from somebody that was like, don't answer more than is asked. Like, don't answer more than is asked. Like, that's how you keep
hard for us though, because we're yappers.
Right, yeah. But like, that's how you keep it age-appropriate, honestly. It's like, oh, who's Patrick? Oh, you're like, can 2 boys get married? Yep. That's all you got to say. Like, yeah, 2 boys can get married. Just like,
I kind of love it. I kind of think,
I mean, that's really all you got to say. Because like a 3 or 2 or 3, that's all she needs to know. No 3-year-old needs to know what sex is or whatever, and I'm the same way. It's like all of that. We were lucky enough to introduce, and we do it here at Village too, right? It's not just about the same sex thing, but it's also different religions and different things. These are presented as just like what happens in the world. It's not this is better than the other. This is the best. It's like, so we talk about Easter, right? Or I mean, obviously it's not like Jesus died on the cross, but it's like Easter bunny. And this is how, people celebrate with eggs or whatever. But it's also like Diwali and, Ramadan. And like, these are the traditions that people who celebrate Ramadan will do, like all of it, like the festival of light, all of these things. And we'll, this month where we like, especially next week, we'll start reading like, and kind of, there's definitely some staples in all the books, but like things like we're all different, we're the same, right? It's like talks about like, we all have eyes, like my eyes look different than your eyes, but we all have skin. My skin looks different than yours, but it still feels and it still touches and it's still, so all of these things just to say, age appropriate. I mean, again, I have 2 little science weirdos who've always been into science. So they knew about, their donor and sperm and eggs from the time they were like 2.5 because they were interested in that. And there's books about that. And it was just very science to them. They still don't know what sex is or how that's involved, but it might be easier because a doctor put you in my tummy and a doctor took you out of my tummy. So that's easier to say than some of the, but they wanted to know. And so we told them, but yeah, like I said, I think it depends on the kid, depends on the parent, and don't answer more than is asked. Just be open. Yeah. No judgment in it. Just this is the way the world works.
I love it. And I know maybe this is like the Lulu of me, but sometimes I'm just like, I hope that she doesn't have to ask because it's so normalized in her eyes. Like that's one of my goals, especially like with her godfather, who's my best friend. I mean, I'm not even being funny. She's around him. We talk on the phone all day. He actually called during this podcast interview. So we talk all day, but we see them like maybe 4 times a week because we all live like 5 minutes from each other. And she's just around them both so much that I'm just like, maybe there won't even be a question like that, you know? And I don't know yet because we haven't gotten there, but I'm like, I hope that her and her friend, just the world, society, I just hope that it just becomes so normal that there aren't even questions of that, of like, oh yeah, like, you know, Patrick and Jonathan they're getting married. And it's just, okay. You know what I mean?
I for sure do. Yeah. And I think, again, I have lived in Chicago for so long and been in pretty progressive circles. I mean, I didn't grow up that way, and I grew up in a very conservative and Catholic family, but they've adjusted with me in the last 25 years, you know, but I do forget sometimes that there is sort of that. All I can do is make a world where my kids are. We knew and were aware that possibly one day they'd get made fun of for having 2 moms, but it's always going to be something, right? It could be whatever else. And so I just think, like, as kids, the old way of like, oh, we don't see it, don't talk about it, don't look at it, everybody's the same. It's like, no, I talk about it, ask about it. Like, oh, you have 2 moms? Cool. And I've heard my kids say, like, I literally overheard it, because kids try to put things in boxes, right? That's how they understand the world. And I've heard a kid be like, oh, your dad. And he was like, no, I don't have 2 dads. I have 2. He's like, I don't have a dad. I have 2 moms. And the kid was like, oh, that sucks. He's like, no, I'm really lucky. He's like, I really love, and he's like, I was really lucky to have 2 moms. But I'm sure sometimes he will think it sucks because he doesn't have a dad. And that is okay. That is a feeling to validate. But we do try to give like other like amazing male role models in his life. And again, some people don't have a dad because they left or they died, or so, you know, some people don't have a mom. Some people
went out for cigarettes and never came back. That's what I say.
Right, exactly.
It's like trauma. I'm working through it.
I mean, and so it's like, they have 2 parents who are present and love them. And all you can do is give them the equipment when somebody asks, and a safe space to come back and like be there for them. And I'm trying to teach them, when they see differences, it's okay to call it out. Be like, oh, why does that kid walk different? I don't know. You can ask him, right? Like, what are those? Like, if you don't shy away, you don't point, you don't stare, you say, why are you wearing braces? Oh, okay. And it's different. It's not bad or worse. It's just different. Everybody's world is different.
Did you start bawling your eyes out when you overheard your son say that about you guys? I just started crying. That's why I
didn't. I was like, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, I'm starting to tear up. I don't think I had time. And unfortunately, like, thinking about it, I was proud, right? But I was also like, oh, like that's what you were. You just don't want ever to like hurt your kid and the thing. But again, I know the logical side of me knows it's not hurt. He's got 2 very present and loving parents. It's not hurtful to not. And he's got wonderful male figures in his life and a twin brother who they're obsessed with. So they're the biggest dudes in the world. Sometimes I was like, sometimes I want to wear a dress, and that's cool too. But but otherwise there's a lot of dude talk in our house too. So yeah.
They are so lucky to have you both. And I think that's so amazing. I saw the new Toy Story yesterday and I loved the movie, but I felt, and this, I'm going to relate this back to our combo, I promise, but I felt like besides the whole like technology iPad conversation, which like itself is a whole thing and I understand, I got more triggered, and like my theme that I saw from that was the bullying, right? And like bullying and like, you know, having access to devices where like obviously like that's how it's happening a lot more today with kids. And the reason that I bring this up is because my husband and I were talking about that, and I think you nailed it. And you're like, there's always going to be something, right? Because like some kids can be brutal, right? And I hate that. I'm a big advocate of loving on your kids so they don't got to be hating on other people. And I felt like, okay, what am I going to do one day when my kid experiences that, right? Because I'm insane. I'm truly insane, Abby. So like, I'm like, what do I do? And, you know, I think one of the biggest things is like, and I think you've done this, which is why I'm telling you this story, is raising your kid to be confident in themselves, right? In their family, just in truly themselves, in their world. And I feel like your son is, for just his response towards that, of being like, no, it's freaking awesome, right? Like to have this experience, to have these 2 amazing moms. And I felt like that conversation could have went different had he not maybe felt, you know, super supported, super loved, super confident. And I'm such a big believer of that. So you are clearly doing what you're supposed to be doing as a kick-ass mom, because that response from your son just solidified that.
Thank you. Thank you. That actually is very wonderful here. Because I was like, and we've had the conversation several times about like, well, what would you say if somebody said this to you? Or like not that specific thing, but it's like, what did you say if somebody said they hate your shirt? Like you can say, well, I like my shirt and that's all that matters. Like, like that's cool, whatever. So it's like, or really think about it. Do you like your shirt? I don't know. You don't have to like something just because mommy picked it out or just because your friend likes it. Like, what do you really like? And stand behind that. Cool, right? Like, awesome.
The leadership mentality, we were talking about that, my husband and I. We're like, we don't want our kids to like follow or like be that. I want my kid to truly think for herself. Like, I don't know, maybe it's my own issues or like my own trauma and just like upbringing, but I'm like, I want my kid to truly like, I want her to be a good person. That's how I know I'm gonna, I'm a good mom. I did a good job. I just want my kid to truly be like a good freaking person. That's it.
Me too. And know themselves. And like, again, like, I just feel like I wasn't until I was in my 30s or 40s that I started even exploring, like, what do I want? Like, I was always so nice to everybody else. And my whole goal was to like make everybody else comfortable. But it's like, well, what do I really want? Like, did I want to do that? Like, what do I like? And getting back to that, right? Like, rather than like putting things that I like on the back burner because I was supposed to do something else. And it's like, no, like, it's like, don't wait until you're 30 to do that or 40 to do that. Figure it out now. Have fun.
That's amazing advice. I couldn't agree more. Before we wrap up, I kind of want to end on the note of your family, right? And your boys especially. But what do you hope that your twins like learn by watching the relationship between you and your wife?
That is a great question. I hope I get kindness. Well, Alexis and I are both very polite people. And I say that in the good way of that. I was like, sometimes it can be the bad way too, but like we say thank you to each other, thanks for cooking dinner today, Alexis. I was like, thanks for getting that for me, Mom. And I really, really believe, and again, my kids are probably just as, neurodivergent as I am. So just seeing like us hold open a door for somebody, not even each other, or like for each other, like we hold the door open for each other, or like, here, let me grab that for you. Or can I get you something from the store? I would hope that they learn that those are acts of love and how you should be treated and how you should treat others that you love, right? It's like not about putting somebody down to like show you like them. It's like, if you let, it's like that the way you respect somebody and you should be respected. And if somebody's not doing that for you.
Abby, thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate you being here. Where can we follow you on social? Where can we check out Le Village, your photography, if you're taking, clients? Where can we do that?
Great. Oh, yeah. So photography is abbylaurenphotography.com, Instagram and Facebook. Been very quiet over the last year, but I am going to start taking clients again end of summer, beginning of fall, probably just limited basis. And then Le Village Cowork. Again, Danny's franchising. If this is a concept that, again, you're a new mom, but thinking like I could maybe, she's franchising. So levillagecowork.com. And then for our location in the western suburbs, it's Le Village Cowork Old Route 66. But we also have locations in Des Plaines, a dedicated pre-K in Old Irving, and then one in Irving Park, Lakeview, and Milwaukee.
Love it. I love it. Abby, thank you so much for being here with us today. We appreciate you.
Thank you so much. This is wonderful. Thank you.